The Supreme Court has given superstar Sanjay Dutt 4 more weeks of freedom, following which he needs to return to prison to serve out the rest of his 3.5-year sentence. It's a decision that has deeply hurt victims of the Mumbai blasts who've been waiting for closure for 20 years now. It's also left other accused in the case baffled about the reason for the rejection of their mercy pleas. They ask, are we using different yardsticks for judging the same crime? Atir Khan with this story.
Sanjay Dutt, the 1993 blast convict, wept. Lent on his sister for support. But claimed that he would never seek pardon.
All I can tell you all is that I have not applied for any pardon. There are many other people who deserve pardon.
But then Sanjay Dutt, the movie actor, took over. 300 crores of movie contracts were about to be put behind bars.
And that's what Dutt's counsel argued in the court. Dutt was meant to surrender and go to jail on Thursday. Arguing for Dutt, RS Sodhi claimed that his petition was based on mercy and humanity, and that it was different from petition of other convicts who had based their prayer on the basis of Article 21 of the Constitution and on medical grounds. Accepting the differentiation, the court granted Sanjay Dutt 4 weeks' time and not 6 months' time as he had demanded.
So, Dutt gets another month of freedom. Not so for her, 70-year-old cancer patient Zebunissa Kazi. Not so for him either. Sharif Parker, convicted, but now in a wheelchair, claiming serious illness. Angry family members crying injustice.
When I heard the news, at first my reaction was of anger. That, how come he get it, because he's a celebrity and all that. But later when I realized, I said, forget, what he's getting, what he's not getting. I'm asking that yesterday when I applied for extension, I didn't get it and I was very disappointed.
तो वही बोल रहे हैं कि अगर संजय दत्त को मिले उससे हम खुश है, ऐसा नहीं कि नहीं खुश है। अच्छी बात है किसी को भी राहत मिल रहा, लेकिन जब एक 80 साल का और एक 90 साल के बुजुर्ग के लिए हम अपील कर रहे हैं मेडिकल ग्राउंड पे, तो हमारी दरख्वास्त रिजेक्ट हो जाती है। मतलब ये देश में ऐसा 2 तरह के कानून माने जा रहे हैं, ऐसा हमको लग रहा है।
हमको लगता है सरकार ने केस ढीला किया है या सरकार ने रियायत बरती है संजय दत्त को, इस वजह से उनको 4 वीक की मोहलत मिल गई।
But the political voice a bit different.
संजय दत्त और ज़ेबुन्निसा इन दो को अलग अलग तरीके से देखना चाहिए। संजय दत्त ने जो समय मांगा है उसका उद्देश्य कुछ है, ज़ेबुन्निसा ने जो समय मांगा था उसका उद्देश्य कुछ था।
मेरा यही अनुरोध है कि संजय दत्त को अपनी जितनी भी फिल्में हैं, क्योंकि उसमें सैकड़ों हजारों करोड़ रुपए लगे हुए हैं, वो फिल्में पूरी होने तक उसको मौका देना चाहिए।
सुप्रीम कोर्ट है, उन्होंने मिस्टर दत्त ने हम प्रोड्यूसर्स के कहने पे ही अप्लाई किया था, तो इट्स ऑलरेडी के जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने दिया है, इट हैज टेकन द प्रोड्यूसर्स रिक्वेस्ट इनटू कंसीडरेशन।
Sanjay Dutt got an extension, but the petitions of 5 others also claiming that their pleas were pending with the Maharashtra governor, as well as suffering from cancer, paralysis and grievous illnesses in the family, were all rejected. The convicts now planning to change their petition to the court on grounds of mercy.
हमारे पास तो स्ट्रॉन्ग ग्राउंड्स है, हमारे पास मेडिकल ग्राउंड्स हैं। 88 इयर्स ओल्ड एक्यूज्ड है, एक एक्यूज के तो ऑलरेडी 14 साल जेल में काटे हैं उन्होंने, तो हमारा भी तो केस स्ट्रॉन्ग है, तो इसमें भी हम कल मेंशन करेंगे कोर्ट को।
They have been convicted for heinous acts of terror, but in terms of relief, Sanjay Dutt seems to have played his legal cards better. The court's verdict is final. The last hope for the convicts is now to file a fresh petition on the humanitarian grounds. With camera person Deepak Bisht and Bureau Inputs, Atir Khan in Delhi for Headlines Today.
In India, it would seem there's one law for VIPs, another for you and me. Sanjay Dutt has been given a reprieve, whereas a 70-year-old woman who's been a cancer patient, she suffers from a kidney ailment, she needs daily medical treatment. She's not found worthy of any mercy, but yet our honorable judges have given mercy to a superstar. Does the law favor VIPs? Joining us on the center stage face-off this evening is one of India's most eminent judges, Justice RS Sodhi, former Justice of the Delhi High Court. With us also on this broadcast is Shagufta. She's Zaibunisa's daughter. She's been fighting relentlessly for her mother, and several comparisons have been drawn with Sanjay Dutt. And if Sanjay Dutt has been given mercy, why was Zaibunisa not considered worthy of a reprieve as well? With us also on this program is Rensil D'Souza. He's the director of Ungli, one of the movies that Sanjay Dutt is working on. Bollywood has been rallying around Sanjay Dutt, saying that there's so many movies, there's business worth about 300 crores that's riding on Sanjay Dutt. It would be a loss to the entire industry if he were not allowed to complete his projects. And that's one of the reasons why the Supreme Court has given him 4 extra weeks to surrender. With us also Dr. Subramaniam Swamy, who believes very strongly that Sanjay Dutt shouldn't have been given mercy. He's in fact called Sanjay Dutt a coward. With me in the studio also is Vikram Sood, the lawyer, Vivek Sood, who believes that the decision that's been taken by the Supreme Court is absolutely correct, and Sanjay Dutt should have been given a reprieve for 4 weeks, if not more. I want to go across first to Justice Sodhi, as a man who's been in similar positions himself, who's delivered very important, significant, sensitive judgments. You know, the entire country, sir, looks up to our learned judges. And when the judges decide that there is no basis for mercy for Zaibunisa and the other accused, and yet find some basis for giving a reprieve to Sanjay Dutt, it makes people wonder if there are 2 laws in this country, one for VIPs and the other for the rest of us, sir.
You know, I myself was quite surprised when the day previous the similar petition of a lady was dismissed, while Sanjay Dutt on the following day gets the relief. Obviously, the message that goes down is quite clear, that the bold and the beautiful, bold and the rich get what they want, while the others are not appreciated. Now, see, if the same thing the reprieve had been given to everyone, I don't think there was any cause for discussion. Secondly, I think the Supreme Court has laid on a very either dangerous proposition or a good proposition as such, that a convict can choose the calling of when he wishes to start his sentence. Now that is also a good thing and a bad thing. It depends upon how each one of you look at it. But I, for one, would feel that you are diluting your law far too much. Either don't find him guilty, or if you find him guilty, say, we are very sorry, we found you guilty, but we are not capable of giving you sentence because you are high and mighty, and the law is a little shaky because of you.
Justice Sodhi, you're speaking for a lot of people tonight when you say that this is setting a very, very dangerous precedent, that a convict can decide when he wants to begin his sentence. Also joining us on this program is one of India's foremost lawyers, Ariman Sundaram, who sees nothing wrong in what the Supreme Court has done. Mr. Sundaram, you just heard from Justice Sodhi. He says that now convicts can decide when they want to start their sentence, and it is very clear that there are 2 laws. The VIPs decide when they want to go to jail, if they want to go to jail, how much of a reprieve that they get.
It is not a mercy, it's not a reprieve. He has to go through his sentence. Now let me give you an example. Assume somebody came forward before the court and said his daughter was getting married in 2 weeks, and therefore could he please surrender. I do not think that if the reasons are there, a court would not look at it. After all, don't forget there's always something called parole, there's something called interim bail. This happens to people who even during their sentences can always come forward and for an extraordinary reason say, look, please, out.
No, but the question is, why should Sanjay Dutt be given 4 extra weeks to surrender? Why should he get to decide this in the first place? Justice Sodhi, do you agree with what you just heard Ariman Sundaram say?
Not at all. I think this is. I think this is really begging the question. Is it proper? Tell me, how many people in this country have been told to go settle your affairs and come back after 4 weeks and then continue your sentence?
There were certain factors placed before the court where other people were riding on something here which could affect them irreparably. The court exercised its discretion. It has the discretion, it exercised the discretion.
So this is a matter of rich versus poor, Mr. Sundaram, because poor Shagufta,
even the final sentencing.
Mr. Sundaram, poor Shagufta cannot hire, Mr. Sundaram, poor Shagufta cannot hire Hari Salve to argue for her before the Supreme Court. Therefore, her mother does not get any form of a reprieve or mercy, whereas because Sanjay Dutt can hire the likes of Hari Salve, therefore he is able to extract some form of a reprieve. You don't think this is mercy, this is a reprieve, make no mistake about it. I want to bring in Shagufta because one of India's foremost lawyers, Shagufta, says this is not a matter of rich versus poor. And the others also, it's not just Zaibunisa Anwar Qazi, there's Ishfaq Hajwane, Sharif Abdul Ghafoor Parker, 90 years of age, he's a bag of bones, he's on a wheelchair, he has to go to jail. Sanjay Dutt, the superstar, gets a reprieve.
Where is the reprieve? Is his 5-year sentence reduced? It is not. Why are you going on saying reprieve and mercy neither is applied? It's only that he has to surrender, has to suffer 5 years. Only thing is he surrenders 4 weeks later. If you object to his being given time to surrender till 4 weeks later, that means his sentence goes on for 4 weeks after that. It's not
Justice Sodhi is asking why should he get to decide when he surrenders? Justice Sodhi has asked a question which you haven't answered, Mr. Sundaram. Why does a convict get to decide when he wants to surrender?
The court on day one decided. The court always can decide. In fact, even when giving the sentence, the court decided when they would surrender. It is in the court's discretion. The court didn't say everybody will go into custody right away from court. It's a matter which has come up on final appeal. It's been pending for the last 11, 12 years. The court itself gave the time in the first instance. If Justice Sodhi is right, the court should not have given time in the first instance. Yes. And I don't think he'll say that. Then the court should have just said, look, we are dismissing the appeal, sentence confirmed, everyone goes, please catch everybody 10 minutes from now and take them in.
Justice Sodhi wants to comment and then I want to bring in Subramaniam Swamy. Justice Sodhi, you first.
Okay. See, this is exactly what I'm saying. The discretion of the court should be uniform. You can't just have discretion in one man's favor because he's a rich man, and you don't use the same discretion against a poor man. And yet you say it's not a reprieve, but it is merely mercy. It's not even a mercy. It is just that he has got to go 4 weeks later. Does he decide 4 weeks, 10 weeks, 4 weeks? Is he going to give a timetable of how he's going to do his sentence? Well, what kind of justice is this?
What kind of justice is this you're asking? And that's an important question because Dr. Subramaniam Swamy, the thing about people like Sanjay Dutt and other rich and powerful convicts is they can hire expensive lawyers like Mr. Sundaram, Mr. Hari Salve, who will find some caveat for their clients to be able to get away.
I think when a cinema star starts collecting AK-56 and carbines and so on, yeah, he has no right to expect that his cinema schedule should be taken into consideration by the court. And I'm really shocked that the court has given such extraordinary consideration for Mr. Sanjay Dutt's plea. After he had tear-jerked before the press saying that he will not ask for any pardon and he will serve his sentence.
Because Mr. Sundaram, when it comes to humanitarian grounds, the question that must be asked is, who has more bona fide humanitarian grounds? A 70-year-old woman who's suffering, who's a kidney patient, she needs to get her treatment done, or a film star who's arguing that he needs to complete his films? What is greater humanitarian grounds, Mr. Sundaram? That question needs to be asked and debated tonight.
It was not the question before the court. The court was dealing with date of surrender, not a question whether somebody should be given mercy. If you are talking about somebody being given mercy, then all this, everything which is being shouted about may be right.
So, Shagufta, why don't you tell Aryaman Sundaram and all those who believe that Sanjay Dutt hasn't got a reprieve, what are the sort of medical problems that your mother has to deal with? And I want Vivek Sood to listen before he comes in, because what are the sort of medical conditions that your mom deals with, and why is it that on humanitarian grounds, her case is far more compelling than that of Sanjay Dutt?
See, I will tell you, Rahul, 2 years back, she was detected with a
cancerous tumor in her kidney, for which she was operated.
Yes.
Okay. And after that, she has to go under constant screening, to see whether everything is okay or no. The doctor has advised us every 4 months we have to take out her ultrasound, gives her blood test has to be taken, all these things has to be followed, And then with age, she's all this trauma has all affected her a lot. She's not what she was 20 years back. 20 years she has put on a lot of trauma in her life. And then this kidney problem started. She has swelling in her legs. I had been taken out pictures and put it in the file to show it to the judge, but anyway that got dismissed. So she can't even walk with her swollen leg. She can't use Indian toilets. So on all these medical grounds, I had and after the verdict of the Supreme Court, she was not stable mentally, so she was undergoing a psychiatric
What's been
treatment
her
also,
response
counseling also.
after she found out that Sanjay Dutt has got a 4-week reprieve and her case, her plea got dismissed? What's been her response? What's been the reaction in the family, Shagufta?
She was feeling bad for me more than anything else, because from last 4 days I was in Delhi, running from one court to the other court, from one lawyer to the other lawyer, preparing petitions. It was not easy for me these 4 days. It was very tiring, very hectic. So she was feeling bad.
Vivek, this is the reality. The fact that someone like Shagufta cannot get any form of a reprieve or mercy for her mother, but because Sanjay Dutt can hire fancy lawyers, they're able to find some reason to get him a 4-week break. The law in India favors VIPs. There is no doubt about it.
While I sympathize with the lady, but they cannot be said to be similarly placed. Now she is unwell.
No, is
not
wanting
well.
to finish a film more important than getting a medical treatment?
See, the medical treatment is available in the jail. Now, if that treatment is not sufficient, the jail superintendent will take her to a doctor.
Can I speak?
Yes, Shagufta, go on, complete the argument. Tell Vivek the facts.
Not only on medical ground that I was seeking this, it was on to review my case again.
We are not dealing with the review petition. First of all, the relief is very, very minor.
See, what I'm trying to tell you,
why should any relief be given at all? Justice Sodhi, why should a convict get to decide when he starts his sentence?
See, he is not decided. It's the court which has decided to postpone the surrender by only 4 weeks. Now, in these matters of bail, interim bail, parole, there are elements of subjectivity. You can't have
I had applied first.
Absolute consistency.
Sir, I had
you
applied
can't have
first.
mathematics.
You answer her question. She says she applied first.
No,
why should
she may have applied.
But
if her medical condition is not fine, she'll be taken care of in the hospital. If the hospital in jail is inadequate, she'll be taken to the best hospital.
Sir, my question
wherever.
Is, sir, my
that happens every day.
My question is, whatever the grounds, the relief we prayed for was the same, asking time to surrender. His ground must be different, my ground may be different. The prayer was the same, asking time to surrender, which was not given to me.
There is this one quote that I had, about how the rich and the powerful always get away. People would really wonder, why is it that the rich and powerful always manage to get away? It's only the poor who actually, forced to ensure that they don't get bail, they don't get any mercy, they get no reprieve. There is this quote, laws are like cobwebs which may catch small flies but let wasps and hornets break through.
I don't agree.
The bigger fish get through, Justice Sodhi.
Let's take the example of Kanda.
Justice Sodhi.
He has not been granted bail.
Justice Sodhi.
See, I've already said that I am appalled at the Supreme Court applying double standards to these two people. I do not agree with the Supreme Court's reprieval to Sanjay Dutt and not to this girl. They should have been both given equal treatment. Yes, from this it appears that there is a different law which applies to the poor and to the rich. And therefore I say the discretion of the Supreme Court has been misapplied. And is causing us great anguish. This is incorrect. It's a bad judgment.
May I say here?
Yes.
That a blanket statement that the Supreme Court is lenient towards the rich and powerful is wrong. I've seen this in 2D. They have been as harsh as is possible on all these well-oiled corporate types, you see. So I wouldn't draw from that. But I do think that here a wrong judgment has taken place. Sanjay Dutt doesn't deserve anything. He's a cinema star and he was dealing with criminals like anti-national criminals like Dawood Ibrahim and Abu Salim, and he was collecting weapons. What is a cinema star got to do with AK-56? I want to know.
True, absolutely.
And therefore, he doesn't deserve any consideration at all. And that too for cinema acting. That is the most ridiculous thing that one can think of.
Let me bring in Renzel D'Souza. He's listening to this argument. What is being argued is that Sanjay Dutt is a convict. Yes, there might be films he wishes to complete, but that is a very insignificant matter when it comes to the larger issue of a convict being forced to comply with the terms of law. He must go to jail. Why do you believe that the Sanjay Dutt should have been given these 4 weeks, Renzel?
No, can I make a point here?
Yes.
Because someone early in the argument made an analogy about a heart surgeon. He said if a heart surgeon murders his wife, would you wait till he finishes all the surgeries for the month or the surgeries that were up on his book and then put him in jail? I would just like to make a point, cinema here, and this is, I know passions are running high, but I just want to make a point about the nature of making a film. Once you start with an actor and that actor is midway through the film, if he does not complete the film, the whole film and all that investment goes down the drain. It's almost like having the heart surgeon stop his surgery in the middle of, with the patient on the operating table. The analogy is not about the next patient. So when you actually stop a star finishing his projects, all the technicians, all the other people involved in the film and all that money goes to waste, and they do not continue. They do not receive the balance of their payments.
Justice Sodhi, do you want to respond to the Bollywood director where he says that this basically means that all of them have to suffer because Sanjay Dutt will go to jail, his movie will be ruined, he'll lose a lot of money. They're saying it's about 278 crores riding on Sanjay Dutt. Justice Sodhi.
So didn't I say money is the consideration?
True.
I'm telling you, money is the consideration. That poor woman didn't have money at stake. This man has money at stake.
No, I think livelihood also is a consideration, sir.
So what livelihood?
No, I think there's a lot of other lives, careers and
livelihood at stake. Anybody else? What? This is no way.
No. I think it's a very myopic way of looking at it, sir.
Myopic way.
No, I don't understand. We are not saying that justice would not be done. We are saying that 4 weeks later, let him complete his projects. He has not said that he is not going to jail. I don't understand this conversation.
Yeah, so he must give a timetable of when he wants to go. He must say Saturday, Sundays I will be in jail, but thereafter I will be out because I've got films to complete. And please, I will take 10 years to complete my 5 years. Please allow me to do that.
No, I think I think, sir, the Supreme Court has some very eminent judges who have decided on this, and they must have taken this into consideration. Let's give the men their due. These are the eminent judges of the Supreme Court who have also given Sanjay Dutt 1 month. So it's not like, it is some kangaroo court has decided to give it to him. These are the eminent members of the judiciary who have decided to give him. There must be some valid reason.
No, but what are the valid reasons? That's what we are trying to establish, because Aryaman Sundaram, I have over here a quote from Justice Kajju on Central State a few weeks ago. He says, Sanjay Dutt has faced a lot of troubles. He got married during his difficult times and has 2 small kids. So taking into account all these things, I suppose he suffered a lot. He should be forgiven because there must be some mercy along with justice, and therefore he must be given a reprieve. Now these are very important questions. If Sanjay Dutt has suffered, Zaibunisa has suffered, others have suffered. Zaibunisa did not speak to the terrorists. She didn't speak to underworld dons.
Can I answer you?
Yes, Mr. Sundaram.
Look, the point of the matter is, let's just get this in perspective. You are absolutely correct. If a person A is given mercy or a reprieve for grounds which are nothing compared to the grounds of somebody else who has been refused, you are right. The fact is, the lady went to court to really saying, please give me mercy. The court has already...
No, sir, you just heard from Shagufta. She says her plea was the same. She asked for extra time to surrender.
You can shout me down.
I'm not
going to answer anything. Allow me to finish.
Mr. Sundaram.
If I can finish, I shall. Otherwise, you can keep shouting. Let's just get to the point. The point is that so far as a case of whether to give a few more weeks or not to let somebody surrender for another 3 weeks or allow them 3 more weeks, there are different considerations. For example, I'm giving you an example. Let's say somebody says, look, in the meantime, before your judgment, I fix my daughter's wedding for the 3rd of May. So can you please extend it beyond that? I'm sure the court will look at it that way. Because the court is not saying, I'm now giving you mercy, you no longer have to suffer the sentence because your daughter is getting married. Far from it. All that's being done is that date is being delayed. And this is not a rich man, poor man issue at all. I wish all of you would just read the judgment and see the sentences which have been handed down in the main case. Sentences were commuted from death to life imprisonment, one of the factors being that these were small, poor, illiterate people. And therefore it was commuted from death to life imprisonment. Sentences were commuted on that ground. If anything, I think the court in this case, when deciding the matter, has been very sympathetic to a person because they come from poorer economic backgrounds. This is a different issue. Somebody comes and says, I have certain commitments, can you please just delay?
But sir, you haven't answered Shagufta's questions. Zaibunisa's daughter says she went with the same plea. He asked for more time to surrender.
And coming out 3 weeks later, rather than going to jail today, what does he earn by it? He doesn't profit. It's not as though he gets 4 weeks cut off his sentence. He has to do the same 4 weeks.
Zaibunisa,
So
you must hear, you must hear Zaibunisa's daughter, Mr. Sundram.
Keep on arguing this.
Mr. Sundram, it's not as simple as that. Shagufta, can you tell Mr. Sundram, what was your plea before the court? The plea that was dismissed by the Supreme Court, was it not the same plea as that of Sanjay Dutt, Shagufta?
Yes, sir, it was the
Some
same.
of the reasons given for the plea is, I have asked for mercy till my mercy is decided. I filed a review till the review is decided. If I'm not mistaken, those were also grounds.
You must hear Shagufta. Shagufta, go on.
No, sir, that was in the different court. My time to surrender was also in court room number 2, along with the review petition.
That was also dismissed, am I right?
How much more time more time did you ask for, Shagufta? How much more time did you ask for?
I didn't ask for any time. I just asked some more time for surrender. I didn't specify the period. Time to surrender. Some more time to surrender.
No, but even Harish Salve arguing in court, Mr. Sundram did not specify a time. He left it to the discretion of the judges. He said, Honorable judges, you tell us how much time Sanjay Dutt can be given.
Till my mercy petition is decided, till my review is decided, please do not arrest me. That is what was asked for. It wasn't that I have to go for treatment day after tomorrow.
That was under article.
That was the case.
That was under.
Definitely have considered it.
Justice Sodhi, you must come in here. Aryaman Sundaram is drawing a big distinction between the two pleas, and he's giving reasons for why Shagufta's plea got dismissed.
Sir, that was under Article 72.
Yes, Justice Sodhi.
See, ultimately it boils down to the same thing. Sanjay Dutt saying that I have got four films to finish, so therefore please allow me to finish those films and give me time to surrender. Here, this girl was saying that all right, look, I have a medical treatment.
No, that was not the ground. What was asked for is, I have a mercy pending. So till that is decided, please let me not surrender.
May I add one
clear, Justice Sodhi, on what the facts were here.
I am very clear, Mr. Sundaram. You also better be clear. Over here, a poor man and a rich man was the issue only. That was the only issue before the court. Sorry? And here, the poor did not get justice. The rich have got justice, and that's all. And here you say, well, because 300 crores are riding on somebody, therefore he's got reprieve, and here this woman just had cancer, so cancer doesn't matter. But 3,000 crores, that matters. And therefore he gets reprieve. And it's not only reprieve, he has to go back.
Justice Sodhi, you're talking law. Let us talk law, don't be populist.
That's what I'm doing.
It's
Sir, this wasn't a matter of law, Mr. Sundram.
The main judgment.
Mr. Sundram, this wasn't a matter of law. It was constantly argued that this is a humanitarian matter. Just, Mr. Sundram, let me correct you. Throughout the proceedings,
humanitarian matters for mercy.
No, in the court, Harish Salve argued, I am on a humanitarian matter. I am not arguing on law.
The petition will be decided by the President.
Mr. Sundram, constantly in court it was argued that it is not argued by Sanjay Dutt on humanitarian grounds. It's a question of where there are greater humanitarian grounds.
May I just add one more dimension? If the rich versus poor argument is to be sustained, then why was
think you
Sanjay
should
Dutt convicted in the
clarify
first
facts before you
place?
get into all
He was
this.
convicted by all the three courts.
So I have the court proceedings before me. Mr. Sundaram, I have the court proceedings before me. I can take you through what happened. The learned court
Fine.
said, you cannot say you were not aware of the judgment. Hari Salve said everybody knew about it, but our plea is on humanitarian grounds and not on legal grounds. Court says, according to you, what should be the reasonable time we could give you? Salve says, we leave it to court to decide. Then the ASG gets up and says, I have instructions to oppose the extension of time. Salve says, I'm not seeking legal grounds. This case is on a different footing. Sir, this matter is about humanitarian grounds alone, Mr. Sundaram. And a question of where is there greater humanitarian grounds. It's not a matter of law. It wasn't argued in court on a point of law, Mr. Sundaram.
Look, this is not a case of mercy. Please tell me what mercy has been shown to him.
Why is he being given 4 extra weeks?
From 5 years
Why should he be
to 4
given
years
4
and
extra
99
weeks?
days?
Why should a VIP
There
judge,
is no
why should a
mercy. All
VIP
that's been
convict
done
be given
is 4 weeks adjournment for surrender. That is all that's been done. If anybody went forward and said, I have this reason, I need 1 more week to surrender, it would have been done. If somebody said, I have a daughter's wedding or I have an operation next week which is slated for next week, the court would have given the time to surrender. Please don't compare unlike situations.
I totally agree with Mr. Sundaram, because day in and day out we take up matters of the rich, of the poor, of all kinds of people, and these kinds of reliefs are very commonly granted by the court.
How is it that making a movie can be more important?
They are not granted. Please be very certain.
Justice Sodhi.
They are not granted. They are not granted. These reliefs are never granted. The person is taken into custody immediately there and then.
Justice Sodhi, as a judge, have you not granted when somebody had a father to cremate? Have you
No
not
one has come to me for that.
cremate his father?
No one has ever come to me for that.
Situations you got to, as judges, you decide so many cases. They come to you on case to case. You have to apply your mind, judicial mind.
But not for
to each
rich and
case.
poor.
It's very easy for us to stand here and pass judgment over tabletops. It's not the same thing.
But Rensil, how can making a movie be more important than someone's health? If Zebunisa is arguing that she needs some time to surrender, a mother should be given some time because she's ill.
No, she did
How
not
can
ask
be
for
treated
any
medically
fixed
in
time.
jail?
She wanted her mercy to be decided.
Neither did Sanjay Dutt ask for fixed time. Hari Salve left it to the courts to decide how much more time could have been given. In a similar situation, the courts could have used their discretion and given Zebunisa's mother some more time. Rensil, how is shooting a movie more important? Rensil, you must answer that question.
I think we're going around.
No, I'm not saying shooting a movie is more important,
Yes.
and I have all the sympathy for.
If she had said, I have this treatment next week, I can't get it in the jail, the court would have considered it.
Sir,
That is
she is
not her
saying
case.
that she has treatment on fixed basis. Every week she
said
has to
that
go.
her condition is
She'll be
such she
treated in
should not
jail.
go to jail. I agree with her. I agree with her. She says her condition is such she should not go to jail at all. That is something the president should consider and give her mercy or commute the sentence. The court cannot do it. Constitutionally, it is not the court which can do it, it's the president. I may agree with her. Her condition is such she should be given a complete reprieve, commuting the sentence, mercy. That is for the president to do constitutionally, not the court.
Shagufta.
Look, we can become very emotional about it without, but we are missing the basic point.
Sir, if I file my application in front of the same bench asking some more time, will I be given the same relief?
If you say that you have a treatment which is imperative, which you cannot get in the jail and you have to get it outside, I'm sure so many cases
No,
are
sir,
decided
my
on
question
that.
I totally agree with Mr.
If
My
you were to say
question
that,
is, can I move
I
the
need this
Supreme
particular
Court?
treatment, I need this operation.
Answer a question, sir.
Sir,
You can give us
my
some
question
legal
is,
advice.
sir, what I'm asking you,
Go on,
sir,
Shagufta.
can I move the Supreme Court asking for the same relief, 4 weeks relief? Will I be granted if I go to the same bench?
Madam, all I can say is, if you make out grounds as to why that 4 weeks, and if you were in jail, you cannot do something you needed to do. I
Sir,
gave you an example. For example,
I have already
surgery,
given those grounds.
something, I don't know your case. I cannot give you an opinion on your case. All I'm trying to tell you is, let's know the facts. The two cases were different. Don't compare 1 and 2. They are not comparable. The
No,
two
Mr.
cases are
Sundram,
different. That's all I'm
Justice
saying.
Sodhi raises the question
I'm
about
not
this
saying-
setting a dangerous precedent, that going forward convicts will determine
It is not a
where
precedent at
and
all.
when they want to surrender.
I must
It
add
sets
one
a
thing.
very dangerous precedent, says Justice Sodhi.
I must add one thing.
There
Justice
is no
Sodhi is
dangerous
forgetting
precedent.
that he was
When the
himself a
court
part
gives
of
the
the same
sentence and says
judiciary
4 weeks
that
to
he is
surrender.
questioning today. Mr. Sodhi is forgetting that he was a part of the same judicial system that he is questioning and criticizing today.
No, but he has the right to do so. You can't take that right away from him.
It's a very minor relief that has been granted. As Mr. Sundaram has said, only an extension of period of surrender by 4 weeks.
No,
And-
does it
and
not
this
set a
lady-
dangerous precedent?
It is not a precedent.
I want to hear from
It is not a
Aryaman.
judgment. It is not a precedent.
Yes,
It's a simple
Mr.
order.
Sundram.
It is not a precedent. It's not a judgment.
No, but
on a
the same
question
will
of
be
law.
cited by convicts going forward, argues Justice
If they have similar grounds,
I want
why
to listen
not?
to Aryaman Sundram.
If they have similar grounds, why not?
Can I answer your question?
Yes, please.
Please, can I answer your question?
Yes, sir.
It is not a precedent, and let me explain why. When the Supreme Court delivered its judgment, in its judgment itself, it gave a certain period for each person to surrender. So giving the period to surrender was already done. All that has happened is that for some situation, a period of surrender has been extended. That is all. It is not as though giving a period to surrender is a precedent. In the judgment itself, it was given, everybody was given a period to surrender.
But Justice
All that we
Sodhi,
are talking about is
others will cite
an
this
adjournment
instance.
of that date.
Others will cite this instance, Justice Sodhi.
No. See, no. Sundaram is right. No, let's not overdo it. Sundaram is right over there. This may not be a precedent. See, the judgment, when it gave everybody the same time, maybe 4 weeks, everybody probably got the same time. But then this extension was not given to everybody.
True.
Another lady was not given, but this man was given. But this is what we are debating. Why is it that the poor girl is not given any extension, whereas this man, merely because 3,000 rupees or 3,000 crores are hanging on him, and some third-party interests arise, and therefore he has to be given. That is what I say. The rich can decide for themselves because there is money involved. The poor can't decide. There is no money involved.
That's an unfair statement.
No, but it does come down to money. Again and again, the argument is coming back to the money riding on Sanjay Dutt.
If it was the rich versus poor, why was he convicted by all the 3 courts? Why was he given a sentence of 5 years? He should have been acquitted.
No, but his crime...
The relief of 4 weeks extension is too minor to be made into a controversy.
Justice Sodhi, but many would argue that he got a reprieve even earlier when the CBI didn't appeal. Yes, when the CBI didn't appeal and didn't say that TADA should be imposed on him and only Arms Act was imposed on him. So he got away easy earlier, he's got away easy now.
No, but the High Court and the Supreme Court have not questioned the decision of CBI, that they have not, why did
But that is why there is a general perception that people who are rich and famous get away.
General perception and law are distinct.
Justice Sodhi, is it not correct that if had it been anyone else, and if you compare the nature of crime, there was no TADA imposed against Sanjay Dutt, whereas TADA was imposed against Zaibunisa. And Shagufta has argued very passionately that her mother's crime was much lesser. Sanjay Dutt was in touch with terrorists, with dons from the underworld. He asked for weapons. Shagufta's mother only kept them, that too, not knowing what this was. There's a big difference. He got away easy earlier, he's got away easy now. Justice Sodhi.
Now you see, this is not something which I can answer like this on the television. General perception is yes, but again, the law may have been very well appreciated and settled. So I don't want to get into that.
No, but Shagufta can get into this. Shagufta, you've been arguing earlier as well that Arms Act was imposed. And that's easier. The provisions are easier. You get away easy. Whereas against your mother, TADA was imposed. She was convicted under TADA.
Yeah, I would like to say something, Rahul.
Yes, please.
That my mother was convicted under TADA because there was no recovery of arms from her house. She was convicted under TADA because there was no confession of Zaibunisa. She was convicted under TADA because there was no underworld link established by the CBI. And she was convicted under TADA, though there was no mention of AK-56 rifles anywhere in the confession of Manzoor Ahmed.
Zaibunisa did not speak
only because of one.
Mr. Sundaram to underworld
the
terrorists.
Confession, nowhere in the confession Yes, there was nowhere in the confession the mention of AK-56 rifle.
Zaibunisa did
Nowhere in
not
the
ask
confession
for
Manzoor Ahmed
weapons,
says that
cartridges, grenades, Mr. Sundaram. Sanjay Dutt did. And Sanjay Dutt did not get convicted under TADA, but poor Zaibunisa did, and you argue that there is no difference between the law in the way that it's applied to the rich and the poor?
I'm sorry, are you now questioning the judgment under which one was convicted under TADA and one under the Arms Act?
Sir, MN Singh, the lead investigator,
The question
Mr.
was asked to
Sundram.
me, not by you, madam.
Mr.
Not by
Sundram,
you.
the
I was
lead
asked a question which
investigator
I'm
in the
quite
case,
shocked by.
the lead
Are we now
investigator in this
discussing
case
the correctness
has come and
of the
questioned why the
original
CBI did not go in appeal to the courts.
No, I'm sorry, the statement, I need to answer this. Are you actually questioning the correctness of the earlier judgment, and are you insinuating that the judgment was passed convicting one under TADA because she was poor and one not under TADA because he was
Mr.
rich?
Sundram,
are
let me tell you,
saying that? Because if you are, I will be no part to that.
Mr. Sundram, MN Singh, the former DGP of Maharashtra, who investigated this case, Mr. Sundram, the former commissioner of Maharashtra. Mr. Sundram, you must hear me out. Mr. Sundram, the lead investigator on this case was on this show. Mr. Sundram, the lead investigator on this case was on this show, and he questioned Mr. Sundram. Mr. Sundram, the lead investigator on this case, was on this show, and he argued that the CBI should have gone in appeal against the court's order. They did not go in appeal against the court's order, saying that Sanjay Dutt should only be prosecuted under the Arms Act and not under TADA. He raised the question then, and that question still stands. Why is it that the CBI did not go in appeal under Sanjay Dutt getting a reprieve and not being booked under TADA? It's a question that I'm not asking. It was asked by the lead investigator in this case, Mr. Sundram.
That's his
in which
personal
case,
opinion.
No, I'm citing that.
The CBI decided that they were not filing an appeal. Was any petition filed in the court to reconsider the matter? Is it not the purview of the CBI? I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but by our system, it is the purview of the CBI.
That's the question that MN Singh was asking. Why did the CBI not go in appeal? Why did the CBI not go in appeal? I am not questioning the verdict, sir. I am questioning the agency not going in appeal. Yes, please.
May I just...
That's a different issue. If you want to question the agency, please do.
That's what I am questioning.
Please do not question the judgment.
I haven't questioned the judgment in the least. I am questioning the CBI not going to the Supreme Court, appealing against Sanjay Dutt.
That's a different issue altogether.
But you must answer that question.
That is a completely different
issue.
No,
but that question must be asked and answered. Do you not think in this case, the CBI should have gone in appeal to the Supreme Court, saying that why is it that he's been given a reprieve, not booked under TADA, whereas everybody else has been booked under TADA? Mr. Aryaman Sundaram?
Have you read the judgment under which the High Court passed the order? Have you read the entire judgment before you give your opinion as to whether an appeal should have been filed or not?
No.
Have you read the entire
judgment? Please don't be
judgment?
unfair to Mr. Sundaram.
Can you say that there are grounds of appeal in
Please
law?
don't be unfair to Mr. Sundaram. He can't answer this question.
No,
How
let us
can
be
he
very
answer
clear.
this question?
An
You have been
appeal is
very unfair to
filed
him.
not because we all shout and bay for blood. An appeal is filed if there is a ground in law. Who here has read the judgment and having read the judgment says there were grounds of appeal which were not appealed?
May I add a few words to this?
It's so easy to keep throwing stones.
I would like to add a few words to this. See, the CBI has a prosecution department. Now, the prosecution department takes a view whether to file an appeal or not. And in this case, when 3 courts have held that the case of Sanjay Dutt falls only under the Arms Act. See, had the High Court said, or had the Supreme Court said as to why the CBI has not filed an appeal, or had the Supreme Court deprecated the CBI not filing an appeal, then that would have been a different matter. When 3 courts have held consistently that the matter of Sanjay Dutt falls only under the Arms Act, I feel we should respect that.
How is it that the matter of
Zaibunisa
falls under TADA? That's a question that Zaibunisa's daughter Shagufta has been asking.
Are you trying to trash the entire legal system, or are you trying to say that we must decide our cases on the basis of some popular perception of the people? Should there be some kind of a signature?
Okay, let Shagufta answer that.
See, we have a legal system in place. The legal system must decide.
Okay, Shagufta,
and we must honor that.
Shagufta, the legal system must decide. People must order what the judges have decided. Let Shagufta respond to that. What happens for you from here, Shagufta?
Nothing. I don't want to comment, Rahul, because I have already stated what is there in the judgment and the facts of her case. So I cannot say more than that. I don't want to comment. But I just don't. I just fail to understand that on that having no evidence, no recovery, and she was convicted under TADA. So I don't know how the law works. So I really can't comment on that. That's a legal angle which I don't understand so well.
Okay, I think we've debated the issues at length. Everybody's made their point. We can't attribute motives to the judgment in the least. We must respect and honor what the judges have decided.
Yes.
But we can question, indeed, whether discretion has been rightly applied and whether, as Justice Sodhi himself says, this sets a wrong example, and others too, other convicts too will now demand that they be given similar reprieve. Their going to jail be postponed for one reason or the other, and whether this sets a very bad precedent. I think let everyone decide for themselves where they stand on this issue. Aryaman Sundaram, Renzel D'Souza, Justice Sodhi, Shagufta, Subramaniam Swamy and Vivek for joining us on the center stage face-off tonight. Thank you very much.